Welcome back. This is Eric Anderson. We're down to the final 6 players of the Venue Champ Invitational Tournament. In the 3 seat, we have our chip leader Clayton Slack from the Cadillac Grill in Cass Lake with 32,600. In the 4 seat, Gary Becker, the Venue Champ from the Gosh Dam Place in Deer River with 9,700. In the 5 seat, Joel Aker from Crookston Icy Mugs with 13,600. In the 7 seat, from the American Legion in Warren, we have Keith Abrahamson with 10,600. In the 9 seat, Kevin Leisner from Erickson Smokehouse in Fertile, Minnesota with 12,500. And in the 10 seat, Paul Shanar from the Gosh Dam Place Noon Tournament with 24,000. Every session, the top player from each of the 30 local venues in the MSPT Freeroll are invited to play for their chance to win a $250 MSPT qualifier seat. Second place wins a $120 Tech. Tech is a tournament entry certificate that will allow them to play in the 5K Bounty Tournament on June 21st at the Northern Lights Casino in Walker, Minnesota. And third place will walk away with a really nice MSPT track jacket valued at $50. I have Kyle Whitefeather joining me right now as we watch Keith sweep a pot with top pair.
Little pocket pair action going on there.
10 folds, 3 folds, 4 folds, 5 calls.
Got Ryan Newquist in the background filling me the action so I can input it all.
Ager limps on the button there. 4s. Horrible decision.
7 checks, 9 checks, 5 bets, 800.
He leads out with his 4s, which is not a bad play. And that should pretty much shut down all the action. Call on the flop. Unless he puts his opponent on something like Queen Jack and those scare cards. Now, yeah, there's no way he can continue with pocket 4s there.
Yeah, and again, Joel acts out of turn. He did that when he had the nuts against Paul in the last episode. He acted out of turn, he shoved all in. And here, he checks out of turn when he has nothing, knows he's beat. So he's got to watch where that button is so he doesn't give away too much information. And Keith and Joel play with each other all the time. So that'll enter into their decision-making process.
Looks like Joel just got up and did a little dance around his chair. Yeah, that's a good luck dance. Let's see if it works.
He won't steal his chair, steal his card. Yeah, steal his card. That's where they've been going. Hey, Jeff. 3 folds.
And he's got Queen 10.
4 calls.
You like that hand?
I love that hand.
5 raises to 12. 7 folds.
6x raise.
9 folds. 10 folds. 4 folds.
And the luck dance worked.
Picks up the blinds and annies. We are really deep stacked still. The short stack has 9.4K, and the blinds are only 200, 400.
You got plenty.
I was wrong. The blinds are 100, 200. I think we're at the end of this level, so they're going to go up pretty soon.
4 calls.
King 9 calls under the gun.
9 calls, 10 calls.
Another
Three
limp
checks.
fest.
Mr. April.
10 bets, 1200. Flop is 10 of diamonds, 8 of spades, and 2 of spades.
Okay, what's that?
1200, 3, 4 fold.
That's 1200 with an open ender, which is a good bet.
Pre-flop raising. You can see Keith here is really aggressive with 25%, and Gary Becker's down there at 3%.
525.
Now, if you notice, the button just got skipped. Paul moved it from Kevin to himself. Damian grabbed it and moved it over to Clayton. So the we're gonna have the action tracker off a little bit while I have to go back and correct it.
Seven fold. Well, I'm on 5.
And everybody has garbage except for Clayton on the button.
Okay. 9, 10 both fold. Hold on, you just got home back up here.
Yep, right there. I'm telling them that it's messed up, but I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the computer to do what the table says.
He's stuck in that hole, you made him stop it.
Raise to 16. Yep. 4 fold.
Oh, you want to defend with a king 4? No.
Yep.
What moved?
There's our chip count. Gary down at the bottom with 9K, and Clayton up at the top with over 30,000 chips. But like I said, the blinds are so small right now that 9,000 is plenty of room to work with. He's got almost 20 big blinds.
Yeah, a little pair of duckies there. I predict he will just limp. Oh, looks like he's raising.
The 1200.
6X with
3
twos.
fold, 4 fold.
I think Joel's probably going to defend here in the small blind.
Joel doesn't like folding.
From 5, 7 fold.
You can tell by his wardrobe, he doesn't even fold his clothes.
Ace 10 9. That's a scary flop for any pair.
It's a scary flop, but with position, Joel gives up. Paul takes a stab,
10 bets 1800. 5
and
fold.
Joel gets away from it. Well played, Paul. That's why you don't want to call a big raise from the small blind, because you're out of position the whole rest of the hand.
Yeah, but the only time you really want to do that is when you're sitting with a huge hand. Kings or aces are about the only two hands that you can really justify just flatting from the small blind, from a position, from a raise from early position. Otherwise, you're just looking to hit a flop.
Even if you do hit your king or your 10, if you're up against ace king with your king 10, you hit your king, you're in really bad shape. If you're up against ace 10 with your king 10, you know, it's just a bad.
4 calls.
I don't like it.
7 calls. 8, 9 checks.
6 is just limp.
For
No,
the small
flat.
blind?
No, okay, no, they raised. There was a raise before that.
7 checks.
When King Jack pulls out in front.
Sounds like he's offering me a job.
25. 9 bets 25.
Oh, 2.
10 folds.
King leads out with a 25. Ace Jack is out, and everybody else
4, 7.
get out of the way.
7 free folds. It's up to 4. It's on 4.
Oh no, I didn't see him yet.
4 folds.
I thought it was just us down there.
Keith folds out of position.
My bad. I can't believe you.
That's a round penalty at Meskwaki.
Oh yeah.
No warning.
Position.
No warning if you act out of position. If you fold out of position like that, it's a 1-round penalty. I think it's a little aggressive penalty.
Yeah, for sure.
But you get people paying attention.
Not a whole lot of action hands. The last couple of hands here, just your
5 folds.
ace rags and
7 calls.
connected kings.
9 calls. 10 checks.
Family pot? Or no, one person's out.
Yep.
Ooh, action flop. Keith with the nut flush.
9 checks.
Oh, he flops it.
Got 2 pair for
10
Clayton.
bets, 1,200.
Oh. I predict Clayton loses some chips in this hand.
I don't think there's any way around it.
Nope. Paul's going to get away from it because he's got middle pair.
And this is bad that the king let out because now he's more than likely going to raise, and then Keith is going to ship, and Clayton's going to be committed.
Do you ship if you have the nut flush? I think with a bet,
Well, the right play is to just call.
bet and a raise.
7 calls.
I would call, make him think you're sitting on just the queen of diamonds, waiting for another diamond.
10 folds.
Yep, Paul got away from it after the raise.
Three
That's going to
checks.
save Clayton a lot of money
That
right
saved
there.
Clayton. Yep,
7
and that hurt. That hurt
goes to
Keith.
bet and 3 folds.
And Clayton insta-mucks 2 pairs just because the other diamond came
Yeah.
out. Doesn't even want to try to boat up.
Yeah.
As soon as Keith reaches for chips, it's over. I don't know. I think with the way the action went, when it was bet raise, I think you can justify making a move with the flush if you flopped it there. 2 pairs is a lot harder to lay down on the flop
Yep.
with 3 diamonds than it would be
It is.
after the turn in river when there's more cards to scare you.
If a diamond doesn't hit the turn, I think he's getting all of Clayton's chips.
You'll probably make a lot of value that way too as well.
I like the call. The call looks like a flush draw. And then the diamond hits,
That's
And-
that's no good.
Then Clayton just gives up. Obviously.
Or even just a min raise on the flop. What is he gonna do? He's gonna have to call.
Yeah, he'll call it mid-range.
5 folds. 7 folds. 9 folds. 10 is going to. Oh. And 3 is going to. He called.
Clayton's tilting, playing a
Three is
king
gonna
10,
raise.
checking it in the big blind.
Yep.
Oh, he doesn't check. He bumps it up.
10 calls.
Min raise.
Oh.
We're at 3-6 now, so he just does a min raise. That's the first min raise we've seen at the final
And it's on
table.
10 for 7 deuces.
It works out for him. Clayton's had more than his share of the cards this game.
Check. 10 checks.
You see Paul's little Bach pretends like he's gonna bet.
3 bet 6. 10 folds.
Just takes it down with a 6 min bet.
Yeah. Did you?
Oh,
I can't believe
boy,
you
if
called
Keith
that.
would have played 7 deuce, he would have won.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I love it.
I also heard that if I would have played the lottery, I would have been the millionaire.
Here's your aggression frequency.
Yeah.
That the software we have keeps track of how many times you're betting and raising versus calling and checking, and that determines your aggression frequency. Typically in this game, the most aggressive players are going to be the winning players. But if you get somebody that doesn't know when to slow down, he'll get in trouble.
10 folds. 3 calls. And 4 checks.
He's got him absolutely crushed with a 10-8.
Actions on green.
Bunch of hearts.
He bets 8. 4 folds.
Clayton is still way on top and holding on to his lead.
Oh, yeah. I thought too, we connected it, but yeah, it doesn't bother. I have no
That's the
idea.
best hand back in 86 diamond, best hand I've had. Don't even expect to feel it.
You gotta start raising on that.
Can't be lying now, because we'll
One
find out.
hand. Best hand I had, one hand.
I probably believe you if you raised.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's a little 5-6 of diamonds down there
except for number 3.
on the button.
7 calls. 9 calls. 10 folds. 3 calls.
We call that the kamikaze
4
special.
calls.
5-6 on the button.
And 5.
I like the 5-6 suited, especially with everybody limping.
Number 4 is all in.
Middle pair, top pair.
And Gary's moaning about his lack of cards, and he ships it
Yep.
with top pair, his short stack. Does Joel get away from top pair here? No kicker? He does. All right.
7 folds.
Oh, it looks like he's thinking about calling with middle pair there. Counting on all the chips, and it looks like he's going to call.
It's half his stack. I don't think he will. Gary hasn't played a pot in an hour. He saw his aggression frequency was 3%. And I don't think Kevin's going to come along with that. You know, Joel was good enough to get away from top pair. I'm sure Kevin's going to get away from middle pair. I don't know why he's thinking this hard. He never calls. Just as I say that, it looks like he's going to stick it. Oh, he does!
I told you. He looked like he was going to call.
3 is going to
Clayton doesn't even think about it.
3 folds.
Here's bad news.
This is the horrible news. He's an ace or an 8. Still needs an ace or an 8.
What happened?
Okay, 4
And
went
the
all
queen.
in.
All in, okay, I'm good then.
And
I'm like,
48.
wait, didn't let me bet. Go ahead, we're good. We're good.
Decker gets a nice little dub up.
But I
Top card now, we're all
I
in.
can't believe Kevin called that.
Definitely not a good place to put
Now
it.
Kevin's down at last place with 6,000 chips.
And then, I mean, the odds weren't even there. No to call at all.
No. Well, no, because you know you're behind against this player.
You have 2 for 5. But I only
Unless he puts him on a flush draw, which is what he must have done. He said, "Well, he has 2 spades. I'm gonna call him a little pair."
Kind of indicative that after someone's complaining about how they have not been getting cards and then they're completely quiet and they just go all in, you kind of assume that it's probably pretty decent.
That's what I assume. So if you ever play me or Kyle, just complain about not getting cards, then go all in the next hand. We'll both fold.
All day.
9 folds.
And that was I kept split.
10 folds.
A couple of aces and a king. I haven't seen too many big aces or big hands in the last 5 or 6, 7 hands.
5 calls. And 7 checks.
7 jack?
Yep. Sandro.
Oh boy.
5 goes all in.
Chips it with ace deuce.
Last man.
What do you do if you're Kyle?
Would you meet us at
Excuse me, what do you do if you're Clayton? Top pair, no kicker.
8,000.
Hope to chop it
Yeah,
for 10K.
It's pretty draw heavy board
You were
too.
walking in the right direction.
Yeah, you got the straight draws out there, you got the flush draws out there, you got the straight sitting right there. Jack Queen flopped it. Yep, he's folding. He doesn't like it. He's gonna. I got top pair, but I got to get away from this.
$93.50.
Oh, he's showing everybody. 9 volts.
Sure.
Call?
No, he folded.
He folded?
What did Joel show? Did he show the deuce?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think the deuce would have been the good play to
I
show.
would have showed the deuce right there.
Then you know that he knows that he can't have you beat then.
There's our chip counts. Kevin on the bottom. Clayton's still sitting on top.
I had a dude 2 kicker. I'd hit that up.
Yeah, Joel's just saying I had to ship it because I had no kicker. All right.
Yeah, the board would appear besides him.
Yeah, I think would have played.
That was a good move, my boy. Come on.
Oh, you got a pair of 8s there. Nice little ace jack. Those would probably be the 2 hands that end up playing.
Well, here it's Paul and Gary who, like we've talked about, they're both from Gosh Damn.
18.
Paul's the bar champ at the noon tournament, and Gary's the bar champ at the 7 o'clock tournament. So they've played with each other
4 calls. 5
twice a day,
folds,
every
7
week for the
folds,
last 5 years.
9 folds.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Yep. Pretty standard. 3x raise.
10 checks.
He knows he's behind. He knows Gary's going to call him and hit that board. And he's just going to snap fold.
10 folds.
Boom. Well played, Paul.
Clayton's still sitting around the 30K mark there.
Yeah. Gary Becker moves up to 18,000. He's in 3rd place now. He was hovering
so long now.
down at the bottom of the barrel
Yeah.
and had that nice double up through Kevin.
Master of the sky. Remember that? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good at audio.
I do like Kevin. He's the best dressed one at the table. He's wearing that new MSPT Run Good sweatshirt.
I'm ready. I can't even lie right.
Yeah. 3 folds, 4 folds, 5 raises
This little king 10.
to 1,800, 7 folds, 9 folds,
Little 9-7 of hearts might get a little action there.
10 folds.
No.
Paul knows the power of position. He's going to be out of position against Joel the whole time. If he doesn't hit the flop, he's going to have to check or maybe try to bluff at it. You can't bluff Joel off a pot because he's calling with anything. He doesn't like to fold. And it's just prudent to get away from your hand.
I know she'll sit here, right?
You like
But any of you guys.
There goes the deuces
4
again.
folds, 4 folds, Oh, you folded. Three mistakenly folded his big blind.
Oh, Clayton. Rookie mistake.
Clayton folds his big blind.
5 folds. No, okay. 7 raises. I take it you didn't have very good cards. 9 folds and 10 folds. Yeah, 7 wins.
And made it that much easier to take down the pot with deuces.
I think Keith's raising with any 2 cards.
After Clayton did that, I was like, wow.
Had anything better than I had. I was
I was just like, all I saw was Clayton go like this, and I saw his cards.
Don't worry, we got a break in 12 minutes.
Everybody's done it.
I've never done it on a big blind. I haven't.
Yeah, Keith said everyone's done it, and Joel says, I've never folded my big blind.
The best one was.
I think if we took a little poll on who acts out of turn the most, I think Joel wins that bet.
Gary raises big, and then he folds.
Gary wakes up with an ace queen. See, all you have to do is complain about not getting cards, and you'll get hit in the face with the deck. Ace queen in the big blind, I love it. Suited.
5
He goes,
folds.
where are my cards?
Not a whole lot of cards that are going to do anything, though. I'm pretty sure he's going to get a walk here.
Folds.
Yeah,
Unless the button makes a move with the 8-6, that's the only way.
3 hasn't folded yet.
Clayton probably just called, he'll raise.
yeah, Clayton will limp in here, and then
4 raises.
4 raises.
And he's out faster
36
than
total.
something really
And then
fast.
3 folds.
yeah, boom. And Becker's in second place now.
He kind of does that once in a while.
You know what? That. You get that again. Oh, yeah, there's some people. They get that completely open that too far. Oh, me already? I think you guys keeping somehow. Run off the back. You fell asleep. Oh, after that.
Now you can see Carolyn in the top right corner. She's in pirate mode trying to send a text. It's not working out well for her.
Oh man.
Calls.
Got one eye open, one eye closed.
On 4 first. 4 checks. 5 checks.
Pretty garbage flop for those hands.
It is, but Clayton shows a power position.
4 folds. 3 bet 1,000 and
Just took it down with the worst hand.
Yep. When it goes check, check, all you have to do is bet. I think that's a rule.
Pretty sure I read that somewhere. She's still sending the text. I think she's gonna burn a hole through that thing.
We should have been.
I could have sold them. I could have a lot of this.
Here's some hands. You got 2 9s with Joel in the 5 seat, and Paul has king queen. This is hijack position.
Queen 9 on the big blind might come along too if it's just raised, called and called. Pot's big enough to get in there with it.
It's going to be a limp raise fold.
More. 5 raises to 19. 15 more, except. Yep, 19 total. I got her call. No, it's just what you have. Roll call.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hammers on it with the 9s.
Another 5.
Might get a call from the king queen, but probably not.
Yes, 5.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. 16
16
more.
on him.
So then 22 total.
Fold. 7
Queen
folds.
9 gets away from you.
And
Much more?
16. 10 calls.
Well, king queen gets a call anyway.
He's got the position. And Damien, before putting out the flop, he points to Joel and goes, "You're first." Oh,
No, yeah. 5 folds is 4s.
now do you ship it? Do you go all in on that flop?
No, never. You definitely want
Worst hand I
to
could
just a bet.
No, it could have been ace king.
You're gonna get called by a flush draw. I mean, you got top two pair. You're getting called by probably maybe a flush draw, maybe, or a set of sevens. I mean, there's really no other reason to go all in there because you're not getting called by any worse hands.
On the other hand, he's playing Joel, who has a hard time folding. If he puts Joel on ace king, ace queen,
Yeah,
he's
that's
got
true.
one
That's
pair
true.
and he's never folding it. He might have picked off Joel if he got a piece of that. Unfortunately, he didn't get a piece of it.
I'd still elect to do
I would have bet
do
a smaller bet.
a heavy bet, like a decent, like maybe 2/3 size of the pot,
Yep.
something like that.
I would have made a smaller bet and let Joel bluff at it, or at least come along, give him a little temptation.
The floors are this awful.
10 folds.
So stand
3 folds, 4 folds,
Those are the only things that help.
5 folds,
What are they?
7 calls,
Yeah.
9 checks.
Folds at that.
See, Kevin hasn't been very active since he lost that big pot.
He's only got 4K left. He can't
You're right.
really call any bets at all without the nuts. Or at least top pair, 2 pair.
Yeah.
Usually not going to be calling with that small of a stack.
Good bet, Keith. He knows Kevin's going to be very choosy now.
Much more time.
Here's our VPIP again. Kevin down at 30% VPIP. That means out of every 10 hands that is dealt, he calls 3 of them. So he's for a land of limpers here, he's the most inactive. He's been folding. And I think that's because of his chip stack. It just dictates that he has to fold. He can't splash around and see a bunch of flops like these other guys are doing.
Got ace king there.
Yeah, we would have had ace king here, but he's in the bathroom.
No way. Burn. That break jack 8 takes it down then.
Oh, Joel, you're about 10 seconds late.
8 goes all in for 5. Good fold on my part, right?
Oh, goes in for 4.2.
54.50.
Paul's going to get away from it.
Fold.
See, this would have been a lot different. If Joel would have been there with the ace king, he would have raised, Kevin would have folded and not picked up the extra
Yeah.
$1,000 or whatever was in the pot.
I think jack 8 might have called too, depending on how much he raised. I like playing those kind of hands out of position.
Yeah.
Four calls, 5 folds, 7 folds. Nine calls. 10 calls. Option of 3 checks.
Some nice hands with no raises.
10 checks, 3 checks. 4 checks.
Checks all the way around.
Yep.
10 folds.
Oh,
Kevin
no.
plays his position with the best hand.
Jams it with the jack 10.
Half of them.
He's still on bottom, but now he's got 7,000 instead of 3,000 that he had a couple of hands ago. So he's chipping up nicely.
Five folds.
Carolyn
folds.
finally sent that text.
9 folds. 10 folds. 3 calls, 4 checks.
Queen 8 over a 10 deuce.
Man of Steel there.
I think he's been covering it.
He can see all our cards, the Man of Steel. No, he can't. Oh, the Man of Steel.
That's why I'm sitting over here.
You don't have to go back there.
And Becker flops 2 pair.
3 checks,
No, it
4
doesn't
bets,
show
1,000. You know,
So you just lose on purpose.
And Clayton comes along with Queen
He's got
Eye.
X-ray vision. That's part of his secret.
I'm saving it for the finals.
3 checks. 4 bets, 2,000. 3 folds.
And he gets out of the way.
I was getting back on my Burger King.
Yeah, he turns it off during the game. Because you got good. No, you know you gotta start playing crap. It allows me. No, it almost takes
What's the point?
I
could have played with big blind.
Yeah, you want another hand.
That's 2 in an hour now.
The hell's wrong with you, right?
I don't know. Maybe cheap somehow.
Uh-oh, she's replying to a text now.
The phone is
7 or 8.
an uncharacteristic foot away from her face.
You think she's sexting with Will?
She might
4
be.
folds. 5 folds.
And he gets a walk. Oh,
No, he
mind.
raised 2,000
Sorry,
over the gun.
under the gun.
Okay.
And there it goes. It's back. It's back up there.
I love Carolyn.
That was a good time.
There it is.
Started at the bottom. Now we're here.
If you've noticed, their bet sizes have not increased along with the
Yeah, they played
blinds
pretty,
going up,
They played
you know.
pretty standard. It's pretty much the same way with we used to be with the 200 blinds. They'd go 8 times the big blind, and now it's staying around the same as what they were betting before.
yeah, and the percentage wise, he now with 600 blinds, he's still betting.
3 calls.
You know,
Yeah, min raises and 3 bets now, which are the same chip equivalent
Yeah,
to
so,
the 8.
so they're not paying any attention to what the blinds are. They're just saying, "This is how much I'm going to bet."
Yep.
Folds. 7 calls.
Now the party just kicked off upstairs. Oh, look at Keith,
Yeah.
just
You know,
flopping.
no big deal. Flop a joint.
7 bets, 2,000. 10 folds.
Do you lead right there when you flop that, or do you let everybody stab at it?
I always do. I always tend to lead with the monster because people don't exactly for that reason. Clayton just called with jack high.
7 goes all in.
No, he raised. He tried to raise him off of it.
Yep.
And that's why you lead out with
Yep.
hands like that.
That was
I mean, even if the way everybody's playing, like someone could have easily had 5s, 4s, or 6s and hit a set.
Okay, now we just came back from break. Damien is still outside, and unfortunately, Carolyn volunteered to deal. And I didn't know how inebriated she was, so we're going to have a slow motion deal for a couple of hands before Damien gets back.
And her first hand she deals is kings out there.
Kevin gets kings. And everybody's trying to tell her information that doesn't matter. You're just confusing her.
3 folds.
More stuff that doesn't matter.
4 calls. 7 calls. 8 goes all in.
Clayton's back. He missed one hand.
Four and 7 calls. Yeah.
Joel's down at the bottom with 7.6K.
I just kind of sat there and watched the action mostly. I think he hasn't been in too many huge hands. Big pots at least.
Let the cards fly.
Very nice, Carolyn.
Everybody's got a queen.
Be interesting to see what happens if everybody stays in and the flop comes queen 7-8.
4, folded 5. 2, 3, 4. Everybody's folded? 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Oh, there's sevens there. I didn't see those.
He didn't put them on the antenna.
Oh, he's gonna jam it with the sevens. Looks like it.
Yep. 17,000.
17. I don't like that play at all.
No, he's picking up the 2,000 in dead money. But
You leave yourself open to get called by too many hands. I suppose there's nobody crazy like me at the table, so you don't have to really worry about that. Getting called with Jack 10 or King Jack or Queen Jack, something like that.
and here's Damien back to save us. Thank you, Carolyn.
Heading back to the pirate ship.
You did a good job. Thank you.
Garrett. You didn't get it right.
And she's got another card.
Yeah.
Not up and down.
Okay, you're 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4. 7.
Yeah, Damien's commenting there that we moved the players around at break to put 3 of them on one end of the table and 3 of them on the other end of the table, so they're better views on camera. Now we can see Paul better in the 9 seat instead of the 10 seat.
It's all in.
Ships it with Jack 10.
No, 6s.
Oh, 6s. Okay, sorry.
Yep, Kevin had the 6s. Now Paul's got to make a decision. Jack 10 suited.
9 folds.
9 folds. 2 folds.
The midnight special.
Blinds are up to 400, 800 with the 100 Annie.
4 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds. 9 calls.
Just a lip with the 10-9.
2 calls. 3 checks.
I think if I was going to enter the pot there, I would have raised.
On the button, I think Paul would have taken it down with a nice raise.
2 checks.
Slack.
Especially against Clayton and Gary.
Oh
Both
boy.
more passive players.
The slack top and flopping top 2. And he leads out with King High. Can't do it.
How much do you raise here, Clayton? There's no draws, you know. I guess
This is 6-8,
I was gonna say you could have a straight
4-3. That's about all.
4-6, 6-8.
Yep.
3-4.
And he stacked up a bunch of chips like he was about to move in.
He just makes it just over a min raise. I like that.
No, gives up the charade.
We need it off the stage.
Yeah, we can get that.
Caroline, that's
Sweet Caroline.
Get her another round. No karaoke.
Oh, she switched from her Captain Coke to a Budweiser. Bud Light, it looks like. I think what happened is the Bud Lights were 2 for 1, and Scott O'Neill bought one and got one for free, and Carolyn was right there to take it out of his hands for him. You know, got to help a guy out.
Nah, I think so.
7 fold.
9-7 in the cutoff. Oh, Kamikaze Kyle would have raised there.
Yes.
3 folds.
The biggest problem Paul has right now is the chip leader is directly to his left. And I would say Clayton's one of the best players at the table right now.
Yeah. 6,400 folds on it. Depends if
Acre Jam's top pair.
64.
Top pair, top kicker, short stack, recipe to jam. And he's still on the bottom with 9.4K, which isn't bad. It's, you know, he's sitting at about 11 or 12 big blinds. But that's how I play when I get down to 10 blinds. I'm not a good short stack player because I've never been short stacked. If I get to 10 blinds, I'm just shipping. Which I need to change that. I've seen all these people just limp along with 3 and 4 blinds and keep moving up in pay scales.
Mm-hmm. Just grinding. It's not the kind of strategy it's going to take to win a tournament, but you can sure make more money.
Paul says raise. Clayton folds before he puts a stack out there.
2 folds.
Queen 9.
See? Again, the blinds are 400, 800, and he raises to 2,000, which is like 2.5, which is a standard raise normally.
Yep.
But when the blinds were 100, 200, he'd raise to 2,000, which is 10 big blinds.
Let's see what the flop. Oh, that's cooler. Cooler time.
Sorry, Paul.
All in moment.
And it's gosh damn against gosh damn. They both play at Deer River. They both know what each other's doing.
There's already 5K, 5.8K in the pot. Any bet is getting raised and you're committed. Bet's 2K.
3 raises the low 5,000.
And he says all in, and with little hesitation, Gary is in. Shows him the bad news.
Needs to catch a 6, ace, or running pair.
Ace is against Queen 9. 6.
He's got no redraws.
Ace is 6 or ace.
6-4 ace.
Oh, there we go. That's a one way to win it.
There you go, Paul.
You have them.
And nothing you can do there but let the cards play themselves.
Oh, even. Wow. Both dead even. And you're right.
Now, right there,
No, he's not. I'm leaving.
I think they miscounted Damien's, or excuse me, I think they miscounted Paul's stack because Paul had about 6,000 more chips.
Slow play the ace and pair.
So I'm not sure how they miscounted that stack.
I knew he'd call.
Had him covered, for sure.
Yeah, he had him covered by 5,000, 6,000 chips. And they counted down like it was an even stack, so I don't know if maybe they... you know what? We just brought in the 5,000 chips at break, and he probably misread it as a 100 chip or something
Yeah.
because they're gray and black. You know, I don't... That's what I'm guessing
It's easy
happened.
to have a dirty stack.
No, we were saying, what that, that's the same, you had already called.
As soon as somebody starts saying,
Yeah, we didn't make you in to go all 25. 4 raises, 25.
Button takes it up to 2.5K.
Encounters no resistance and picks up the pot.
Good enough to take down the blinds and antes.
Two folds. 4
I'm a
calls.
queen 9 suited and 10-9 action.
8 calls.
Everybody gonna play friendly. Five, six, ace. Looks like the first person to bet is gonna take it down. So, looks like that'll probably be
Paul.
Paul. Yes.
9 bets 12. Four folds.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Nice little semi bluff with the open ender and takes it down.
That puts him in first place. 800 chips above Clayton.
He was pretty quiet for a while there, and then just went on a nice little heater.
yeah, you said all the no, I heard the beep. I heard the beep. I thought, oh, that was awful good.
Looks like the final table pressure is getting to Clayton a little bit. Rubbing his head.
Four folds.
Lots of clubs there. Nice little queen jack suited, 8-9 suited.
Cut off. Queen Jack suited. You just limp in.
And then a limp. Never a limp there. Always raise.
What is 9?
If you're going to play the hand, I mean, you can either fold it or raise. I don't think you can call there.
Especially against a passive table like this. It's not like he's trapping somebody into raising against him.
Oh boy, this could be a little bit of fireworks going on here.
Kevin with the flush draw. Keith with the flush draw.
Clayton with top pair.
Top pair, no kicker really.
2 bets 12.
Looks like he's going to bet raise, bet call, and then maybe a raise.
Up to 8 calls.
Nope, just a bunch of calls.
9
If either one of them would have took the initiative and raised, I don't think Clayton can continue after seeing him fold the ace-5 before. Although there's no more scare cards out there. There's, before it was ace-king 10, 2 spades. This is just a flush draw and a 4-5, something like that. You have the queen high flush draw, 9 high flush draw. Looks like it's going to stick around.
Up at the top of the screen, it shows that Kevin has 8 outs, but they're not counting that Keith folded the queen and the jack of clubs. And he makes the correct laydown. And we go on to the next hand. I think with 7,000 chips, I would have shoved on the flop if I was Kevin.
Yeah, with a flush draw, for sure.
You know, if you get called, you've got outs.
It just looks so strong coming over a bet and a call.
Right.
It just looks like a monster. Even an ace, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I think he would have got no resistance. I think Clayton's folding his ace-7, and I think Keith might have came along with a bigger flush draw.
Could have, yeah.
With the queen jack.
Flushes are more the type of thing you want to get in on the flop if you're going to get it in,
Right.
because you don't
You
want
want two
to
shots
do
to
it
hit
with
it.
one card left.
7 calls. 8 folds. Nine folds. Two calls. Check. Two checks.
Well, I can probably assume that there's no ace, 8, or 9 on that board.
10 of spades, 6 clubs. No, 4 bet, 1200. 7 calls.
Ooh.
Yeah, Keith's got an open-ended straight.
7 calls.
Joel's got an open ender.
So does 2.
Clayton has ace high.
Ace high just coming along, which coincidentally is the best hand right now.
2 checks, 4 checks, 7 checks.
Oh,
I just got a 4 card straight.
4-card straight, 4-card straight, hits his 9, and it's good.
And a spade.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna hit the spade draw.